Hey, welcome back to my channel, guys. We're here for another Sly Cooper video, and for this video, we're going to be talking about some of my least favorite Sly Cooper worlds. First, let me just go on a limb and say thank you guys so much for all the support you've shown on the first 4 videos I did of Sly. They've been gaining a lot of traction lately, and it just makes me feel good to know that people love the content that I'm putting out there. So, hope you guys like more of it, because I got plenty more videos coming in the future. So anyway, back on topic here. For this video, we're going to be talking about some of my lesser favorite Sly Cooper worlds, the worlds that I may still like, but don't like more than the other ones, or worlds that I just flat out do not like. But this is all opinion based anyway, so as always, love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and what you guys think. And I love the fact that people out there actually roasted me about some of my picks. It actually makes me feel good to know that people are still passionate about Sly, so I love hearing you guys' opinion as always. Let me know in the comments section. And as usual, let's get into this video. So let me lay the groundwork of what we're dealing with. So we have a total of 24 worlds in Sly, and a couple of villains have the same world dedicated to themselves, and a couple of worlds are reused over and over again. So I decided for this list, I'm just gonna do, if a villain has 2 worlds to them, I'm going to put them together to make the same list, to make the same spot in the list, or if it's the same world over and over again, I'm just going to rank it as one world entirely. So, aside from that, those are the only ground rules I have for this list, and I've been talking too much, so let's get right into this list now. Number 10. Medieval England from Sly 4. This world is actually a lot of fun to play in. To me, the nighttime feel is dark, but it works for what it is. Plus, the medieval setting is a great design for Sly, in my opinion. On top of that, there's so much you can do in this world. Whether it be catapulting from one area to the next, or climbing higher heights and then getting a good view of the area, especially if you have the Batman costume on for Sly, it really makes you feel like you're Batman in this world. Plus, I also just love how they have a circus in the area too. And it goes back to, that one mission I was talking about that I love so much, Juggling Act. It's just, to me, this world just feels natural. It feels like a natural world for Sly to be in, and I love it every single time I play in it. And shockingly, I feel like this world is very underrated by a lot of people, and I guess that has to do with the fact that there's a certain story point in this world that kind of, set people off a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but a lot of it. But aside from that one story point, and we're just talking about the world in general, I just love that you can do so much in this world, and this world really makes you feel like a thief or vigilante just scoping the whole area. Number 9. Fenrir Japan from Sly 4. Much like the medieval England world, this world is also a lot of fun to play in. I love the design and texture of the Japanese culture being involved in Sly. On top of that, I truly think that Fenrir Cooper is one of the more underrated Sly Cooper ancestors. In fact, I would dare to say he's probably my second favorite Sly Cooper ancestor in this game, right behind Tennessee Kid, but I'd have to think about it. But anyway, getting back to the world. The world is great. The very early morning feel of it is awesome. The way they got the Japanese buildings designed so that, you can jump from spire point to spire point. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're Fenrir Cooper and you can just jump from one area to the next. It's just a whole lot of fun to just ninja spire jump in this entire area. I also love the treasure that they have in this area, and plus the little bits of water or waterfalls they got sprinkled out in the area really brings the environment to life a lot more. Plus, I just wanted to throw in this little fun fact that I thought was hilarious, was that even though Sly, Bentley, and Murray are all aquatic animals, they all can't swim because they were never taught to in the orphanage. I thought that was pretty ironic and hilarious. But yeah, Fenrir Japan is an awesome area in my opinion, and definitely one that Sly fans should just play in just for the fun of it. Number 8. Saudi Arabia from Sly 4. This area is basically how I feel about John Basson on the worst villains list. It's here because it needed to be a placeholder, not because it's a bad environment. In fact, I actually love Saudi Arabia. The beautiful sunset feel, the desert feeling, you know, the fact that we get to meet one of Sly's more interesting ancestors, even though he's coming in around the age of his retirement. But still, this world is just beautiful with a capital B to it. It just sucks that it has to be on this least favorite list, mainly because, like I said, it needed to be a placeholder. Because aside from that, I actually love everything about this world. If there's anything that draws this world back for me, it's the fact that I don't really particularly care for sandy areas like that, but it's made up for in design and how the Saudi Arabian culture is invested right into it. Plus, this world has one of the few things that other Sly Cooper worlds don't. The fact that you actually have a secret area inside the world, and you can actually see one of the bosses sleeping right next door. That to me was one of the craziest things ever, seeing Miss Decibel sleep in the secret area of this whole world. Number 7. Cane Island from Sly 3. Believe it or not, I actually do like this island, but the problem I have with it is the fact that we can't explore it regularly. It's only used for missions, which makes it really hard for me to want to like it more than I already do. Even though I do appreciate the fact that they had the final, at least what we thought was the final world in a final Sly Cooper game, be involved in an island where Sly could just get his treasures from his ancestors. But it's just the fact that this island has so much going for it, but we only can use it just for the missions. We can't just explore it regularly. Even with someone like the hacks that I've seen people do, where they can actually travel and explore the island a bit through some different coding methods or like just a glitch happening in the game, this island still is brought down by the fact that we can't actually explore it regularly. Aside from that, the design for the island is actually pretty nice, and I do love the jungle feel for it. And Dr. M's fortress is rather tough to get through. Number 6. Rajan's Jungle/Spice Temple from Sly 2. This pick is basically like a reverse Contessa for me, which I'll cover in the next video, but in this case, if the first world in Contessa was okay, but her second world was great, Rajan's first world to me was great, but his second world is just okay. Rajan's village, where he's hosting the ball at to show off his clockwork wings, was absolutely incredibly designed. Plus the sunset feel that it has going for it is just incredible. I love the mix of yellow, orange, and purple together. And the colors they're just warm and maybe not like super vibrant, but they're vibrant enough to make it feel like, you know, like there was so much, you know, love put into this environment. And even though this is in the Indian jungle, there's plenty of city spots or buildings around for you to climb on and walk all over and stuff. Now, compared to his village, Rajan's Spice Temple does not pop out like that. The colors in Rajan's Spice Temple don't stick out as much as his village does. But I do greatly appreciate the fact that it's in the super early morning and not the daytime. I just kind of wish the luminosity was turned up a bit, but I do, that goes back to that conversation I was having with that guy about how Sly should only be held either at late night or early morning, and this world does a great job at doing that, in which it's super early in the morning, looks like about like 4 or 5 a.m. per se, and it's just meant to be like the getting the job done early and out of the way. But what this world lacks in color, it makes up for in design. Much like Cane Island, all the vines, trees, and cliff edges you can climb across and walk on, it's just fun to do. And you know what? It makes the color in this world much more forgivable, especially because later in this world we get such a great storytelling point that I don't think any of us saw coming. But I won't talk about that because I'll talk about that in a different video. But as it stands, Rajan's Spice Temple, not one of my favorite worlds because of the colors, but it is a rather fun world to be in. Number 5. The Krakow Mountains from Sly 1. While even though fighting your way through a literal volcano is one of the most badass world designs anyone could come up with, the linear style of this world is what really holds it back for me. Even though I do really like this world a lot, I just think that the linear style just really holds back the potential of this world. But again, Sly 1 was a linear style gameplay, so I'm not too mad at it. I'm not going to be too mad at it. but I do love the fact that we get to see and fight Clockwork in this world. This entry to me is very weird because, like, even though I love this world, I love the colors it has, and the design for it is actually pretty good, I just don't like the overall linear style that it has for it. And I think it's like potential wasted. I think that's my feeling on the Krakow Mountains. It's potential wasted given the limitations that Sly 1 had. If this world came in like Sly 2 or even Sly 3, I think this world would be remembered more fondly in my eyes, and I would have loved it a lot more. Number 4. The Ice Age world from Sly 4. Now, like I said, I love snow worlds in video games, but the one from Sly 4 is one of the very, very rare exceptions to that rule. Now, I personally just did not like this world like that overall, and it's made even worse because of the villain we had in this world. Even though I'll give this world credit that it's very interesting. It's very well designed, you know, for it being caveman times, and like how they're combining all the dinosaurs and stuff, and you know, the caveman-esque, you know, artwork, or cavemen, you know, walking around guarding the area. I want to appreciate this world more, but I just can't because I just don't think this world feels Sly Cooper like. This world was intended to be, you know, the world that showed Sly's first ancestor in Bob Cooper, but I can't appreciate it more than what I should, even though this world is rather interesting at times, and I do think the bits of lava that's spread out in the world does work. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this world that I just can't bring myself to like it anymore or hate it any less. You know, this is one of the, like I said, this is one of the few snow worlds that I just do not care for in video games. Number 3. The Australian Outback from Sly 3. While I like the nighttime version of the Outback, the daytime version I just really can't get behind. On top of that, this world doesn't really feel like a Sly Cooper world. This world just feels like a tacked on world because the guru needed an area dedicated to him. Like I said earlier about how I feel about like desert areas, and how like they're not my favorite unless they're done right, like, you know, like Saudi Arabia was. I just do not like the Australian Outback. No matter how many times I replay this world or go through it, it just doesn't feel right to me when I play as Sly in there. Even with some of the best missions in the entire game being in that one world, like Lemon Rage, I just do not like the design of this world, and the daytime feel, like, again, going back to the conversation, the daytime feel of it just doesn't work for me. The nighttime feel actually somewhat saves this world from being the worst on this list, but it's still not enough to make me like it more. And overall, the Australian Outback, it wasn't good for me. The chapter itself wasn't good for me, and the villain, as we all know, is my least favorite Sly Cooper villain, so the Australian Outback's just not for me. I also wanted to add to the fact that this world absolutely feels pointless too, because Sly 3 took away all the safes, so this world really just is for the story and nothing else. Number 2. Haiti from Sly 1. Everything about this area to me is just dull. Like, the color is dull, the design for it, the linear design for it's dull. You know, and even though I didn't talk about the soundtracks too much on this list, even though I'll talk about the soundtracks in a different video, the soundtrack here it's dull. This whole area to me is just dull in general. That's why I don't really have much to say about this area, except the fact that it can get creepy at times if you're not ready for it. You know, and Miss Ruby, you know, again, she's not one of my more favorite villains, so this world really is just serving the purpose of being Miss Ruby's area. Yeah, the Haiti world in general, I think it's the worst world in Sly 1, and it's definitely one of the worst Sly worlds in general. I really don't have much to say on it. I want to say more about it, but that's about it as far as I can say. But it's not the worst world to me. There's one more world after this that I think really just kind of takes the cake for being my least favorite Sly world. Because at least with Haiti, At least it has the nighttime feel going for it. But this next world doesn't make any sense whatsoever, world design or gameplay wise. But before we get into the number 1 spot, let's do a recap of everything else that we've done on the list. Number 10, Medieval England. Number 9, Feudal Japan. Number 8, Saudi Arabia. Number 7, Cane Island. Number 6, Rajan Spice Temple / Jungle. Number 5, the Crack-Carved Mountains. Number 4, Caveman Times / the Ice Age. Number 3, the Australian Outback. And number 2, Haiti. Okay, now we're at the number 1 spot on this list, guys. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the number 1 spot on this list is rather interesting. It'll be interesting for a lot of people. But this area, I just never really could get behind, no matter how many times I play in it. But, ladies and gentlemen, the number 1 worst Sly Cooper world, in my opinion, is Bloodbath Bay from Sly 3. There was something about this area I just couldn't get behind growing up, and I think I finally figured it out after all these years. The fact that we're thieving in broad daylight. I was having, again, the conversation with that person on YouTube really opened my eyes up about what Sly should be. About how Sly should either be in the late night or early morning, and I wholeheartedly agree with them on that. On top of that, we have the blasted ship segment for half the episode 2 when we play in this world. With pirates being involved in Lafouille actually being one of the better Sly Cooper villains, this world should have been much more memorable for a lot of people, and myself included. But instead, it ends up being a world that I ultimately don't care for. Even though climbing the sails in the captain's quarters can be fun to do, there really isn't much more enjoyment for me that comes from this world unless we're doing like the extra challenges and stuff. Okay, and that concludes today's video. Now, these Sly Cooper worlds were very, it was kind of hard to decipher my favorite from least favorite, even though there were some obvious favorite ones. The other ones were like, I like them, but where would I place them if they're not in my top 5? That's where the difficulty of this list got. And I know overall for me, it felt like, the top 3 and the worst was actually the worst ones, the ones that I really just did not care for. And then everything else is just like a matter of placing in the specific spot that I think it deserved to be in, at least for my standards. My opinion, I guess, my opinion, again, everybody, I want to see you guys' opinions in the comment section, because I know you guys have opinions about some of these placements, or if some worlds are worse than the others. But I want to see what you guys have to say about this. My name's Lancey, and I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be covering the best Sly Cooper worlds.